Değerli izleyiciler, bence bu yılki saha 2026'nın en önemli noktalarından biri. Şu anda benim arkamda Eurofighter Typhoon var. Bunun bir mock-up'ı var, bir modeli var. Ama birebir ölçülerde. Türkiye bakımından son derece önemli. Çünkü Türkiye bu uçakların alıcısı oldu ve önümüzdeki süreçten itibaren Türk Hava Kuvvetleri filosuna bu uçaklardan katılacak. Ve bu uçakları çok iyi bilen, bu uçakları uçuran, başka savaş uçaklarıyla da uçan bir isim var. Yanımda şu anda BAE Systems'in direktörlerinden, strateji direktörlerinden bir tanesi. Kendisi Birleşik Krallık'tan geldi. Sayın Mike Baulkwill ile birlikteyim. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Bir özet yapayım değerli izleyiciler. Şimdi Türk Hava Kuvvetleri filosunda bizim uzun yıllardır kullandığımız ve Hava Kuvvetleri filosunun omurgası diyebileceğimiz F-16 uçaklarımız var. Önceki nesilden de Phantom savaş uçaklarımız vardı biliyorsunuz. Bunların tabii görev tanımları, kullanım alanları oldukça farklı birbirinden. Türkiye bir taraftan da kendi milli, yerli kaynaklarla büyük oranda geliştirmeye çalıştığı bir Kaan projesi var. Bu da TUSAŞ tarafından bu proje devam ettirilmekte. Bunun yanı sıra F-35 programının da Türkiye program ortaklarından biriydi. Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'nde bu uçak üretilirken Türkiye'de önemli oranda bu üretime katkı veriyordu. Fakat daha sonraki bir takım gelişmelerle özellikle S-400 hava savunma sisteminin Rusya'dan alınmasıyla Türkiye bu programdan çıkarıldı ve KATSA yaptırımları başladı. KATSA yaptırımlarıyla birlikte F-35'ler konusunda şu anda bir belirsiz döneme girilmiş durumda. Hal böyleyken Türkiye bu dönemde yakın gelecekte hava savunma ve hava muharebelerinde kullanmak üzere bir uçak arayışı içindeydi. Burada Avrupa Konsorsiyumu tarafından adı Eurofighter olarak belirlenmiş olan bu uçağı Eurofighter Typhoon'u satın alma kararı verdi ve Milli Savunma Bakanlığı'yla da bu konsorsiyum adına Birleşik Krallık'tan BAE Systems'la görüşmeler yapıldı. Bir stratejik anlaşma imzalandı. Bu çerçevede Türkiye Tranche 4 yani yeni fabrikadan yeni çıkacak olan uçakları kısa bir süre, belli bir süre içinde teslim almaya başlayacak. Ayrıca bazı uçaklar da normal şartlar altında planlarda bir değişiklik olmazsa Körfez ülkelerinden temin edilecek. So I shared the brief information about this jet and the needs of Turkish Air Force and some other platforms. So you have a very important experience, not just with this jet, also some other models. Could you please summarize?
So my background is I started flying the Harrier many years ago, and then 6 years on the Harrier, then went to fly the F-16 with the Dutch Air Force for 3 years before starting on Typhoon back in 2004, and I flew it until I left the Royal Air Force, and my last job was commanding all the Typhoons and all the F-35s for the United Kingdom. So you have an enormous experience.
Yeah,
I have a pretty large experience.
In the modern world, you almost flew with, including all modern and important jets. So I would like to summarize, and most of the audience don't have any, the detailed information about the jets. How can we basically summarize the advantages of Eurofighter Typhoon? And what do you think about when this jet join Turkish Air Force fleet? What will be the main benefit in terms of flexibility, the capability and the range and the other system, missiles and other systems? Can you please share a brief information about
so
that?
I think what Turkey has bought here is a great partner aircraft to F-16 and to Kaan in the future, as well as your autonomous collaborative platforms, the uncrewed. What Typhoon brings to Turkey, I think, is an increased level of performance in aircraft. So the way I describe Typhoon is like an F-16 with 2 engines, flying higher and faster.
Higher and faster. And having 2 engines is a sort of advantage.
It definitely.
Why?
Well, simply because I get more power.
Yes.
And I don't need to use afterburner in the same way.
Yes.
And it allows me to employ weapons such as Meteor at ranges that other aircraft can't operate at. So Meteor range employment alongside a very large radar that's very powerful, that has a very wide field of regard. So that electronically scanned radar that Turkey is buying, combined with Meteor, gives it a sizable advantage against adversaries that Turkey may face. And then when you couple that with F-16, and as you move into fifth generation aircraft such as Kaan, what the Turkish Air Force has is a balanced portfolio of capability. The way I describe Typhoon in the fighting environment is it's carefree handling. I don't have to worry about the engine, I don't have to worry about the G limits, that's all done for me. And what we see with the aircraft is a really reliable and available aircraft that can do the job for the Air Force. My 23 years in the Royal Air Force flying Typhoons, not one British ejection. The Royal Air Force has got the same number of aircraft that it bought 23 years ago. So we have not crashed one.
Yeah, so it's a sort of showing the reliability.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I right?
And I think that's really exciting. So I think what it offers Turkey is another capability to go alongside what it already has, and it's great to have Turkey come into as the first NATO country to buy into Typhoon other than the 4 partner nations. So for us, getting Turkey to help us industrially and on the capability journey as we go forward is going to be really exciting. So I think it's a great change for Turkey and for the United Kingdom and of course the Eurofighter partners.
Yeah. I mean, I think training is one of the important the topics. For example, I am an, let's say, experienced F-16 pilot and you are my trainer for this jet. How much time do I need to adapt, to transfer all my knowledge from one jet to another?
So very quick.
How long
very
does it
quick.
take?
So I think it could take anything to 3 to 4 months, but a lot of that is not the flying bit. A lot of that will be the ground training, learning the systems, the way that the aircraft deals with emergencies, some simulator time. But the principles of fighting are very similar to the F-16. So when I converted from F-16 to Typhoon 20 odd years ago, it was a very simple transition. What I noticed was I was seeing things a lot further away, so I had to think longer ranges, I was thinking higher performance, but the principles of fighting, be it in the close-in fight, very similar. It flies the same way as an F-16, you've just got a lot more power, you go up a lot more rather than down. So it really is getting an experienced F-16 pilot used to operating in a new cockpit. But that won't take long, and we're talking 3 to 4 months. What I would say is then as you get used to the aircraft and get to trust it and understand how it operates, that would take about a year to take a 4-ship flight lead on F-16, an experienced guy or girl on F-16, and then to put them in Typhoon. I think they'd be really comfortable on the jet, being able to fight it really well after about a year. And some pilots will be quicker, some people are slower, but just to fly the aircraft, no, literally very, very quick indeed. But to operate it and fight it, that's the difference.
What about, I mean, there are some Turkish companies and they also produce very important ammunition systems and missiles like Roketsan and
Yes.
Aselsan. So can Turkish authorities easily transfer their technology and integrate their technology? Because some systems, you know, like Apple, if you have an Apple
Yes.
iPhone, it's not easy to know the transfer
No,
or integrate your other systems because it's not the open system. Can we say that? Is it sort of, let's say, will it be open system for Turkish technologies to improve, to integrate, to develop?
That is our plan. That's going to take some time, but yes is the answer. And I think getting the capability that Turkish industry has, some of the advanced weaponry, and adding it to what you see in front of us is exactly what we want in the flexibility. And that's true for the other NATO nations who operate Typhoon, is to make sure that if we put a Turkish weapon on and other countries go, I want that weapon, that's exactly where we need to get to. That's going to take a bit of time, but certainly,
it will be possible.
Absolutely.
So there will be no, let's say, restrictions on it for applying all those things.
No, we'll have to go through the right process to make sure it's all cleared and correctly integrated, so that the right information is being sent to the weapon and also received from the weapon. But that is exactly what we do with all these.
Hardware and software harmonization and training.
Every weapon you see here was not, when Typhoon first came into service, was not cleared. There is only one weapon that was cleared, and that was that. But actually, the other weapons are all new weapons. New sniper pods, new Meteor came in 2018 or so. It's Paveway 4. Storm Shadow Scalp, standoff weapon, they all came later. So absolutely, just as F-16 came into service with some basic capability, you now see it 50 years on, very different aircraft. But bringing Turkish industry together with Eurofighter and particularly BAE Systems and working together, that's really exciting for us.
Recently, Turkish authorities and the UK authorities signed the sort of strategical, let's say, bilateral agreements, cooperation agreement. It was also very important. And as far as I understand, this will be one of the most important milestones and the steps between the two countries plus the consortium of the European Eurofighter consortium, because some other countries also is the program partners like Germany and please name the other countries.
So we've got Spain, Italy, Spain,
and four countries.
Yeah, UK. But I think having Turkey into that club is brilliant. I mean, I think it's going to be very exciting. But it's great to have you guys on board. And
if you also compare these jets, I mean, there are also of course some good jets, but maybe some slightly different categories. The French jets and the Swedish. Saab, and the Dassault is also important producer, and there are some other options, but not many. Can you also please compare this jet with some other NATO fighters? What are the advantages of Eurofighter Typhoon?
So I would say the big advantage for me is the size of the radar.
Yes.
As we spoke about earlier, the engine performance and power, the very large delta wing that allows me to operate at 40,000 feet plus with ease. The aircraft operates very happily, and it's the only other aircraft that operates at those heights with ease alongside F-22. So what we have is a different category of performance compared to some of those other fighters you mentioned. They're all very similar, they're all great aircraft, Rafale, Gripen, great aircraft, F-16, that I know and love, fantastic aircraft. This just has a lot more growth potential. You can see the size of it, the engine performance. The engines don't even produce as much power as they could do. We don't need to. There is so much performance. So the aircraft, for example, in 50 degrees of heat, can get airborne in dry power with a full weapons load. And I've done that many times in my Air Force career. So we've got this growth potential in the jet. And the way I put it is, Typhoon has barely yet started its journey. And I think bringing Turkey into that, with some of the weapons that you talked about and the other capabilities that Turkey has, I think the future is really exciting for us. So it's a great, contribution to the NATO.
You mean the advantage of big nose, also the range of the radar, right? The
radar is all about how much power. It's how much energy I can put out. The larger the nose,
it's a clearer image. You mean the most important thing, the image, the information,
yes.
What you get from the other sources.
Absolutely.
Because you will decide what kind of system you will fire.
Yeah, exactly that.
You have to define it, identify.
And the field of regard on this radar is broader than any of those fighters.
So some experts and some parts of Turkish public opinion share this kind of information. I mean, Turkey currently is working on Kaan project. We have F-16s. We want to be part of F-35. I mean, this is also completely different system if you look at it somehow. I mean, all different systems will be very costly to run. To have a proper maintenance, to get the proper training, etc. And some experts suggested that Turkey should concentrate, should focus maybe less systems. This is an idea, another approach maybe. What would you like to say as an experienced pilot?
So first of all, I think you need a variety of tools, of capabilities to solve the air problem. And we've seen in recent operations around the world all types of target problems that we as NATO nations have to face. And I say this to everybody. You said, when I was the commander of the UK, I wanted F-35 with Typhoon. I didn't just want F-35 and I didn't just want Typhoon. I wanted a force mix. And now in the UK, we're looking at uncrewed systems to join alongside. And I think perhaps 20 years ago, we all wanted to go to one type of aircraft that did it all. Multi-role, nice and easy, nice and cheap. That is not true. We need all the generations, because there are times when I'm doing operations where I need an aircraft like this. There are sometimes I need aircraft that are low observable, and sometimes I need uncrewed. But we as modern countries working in NATO need that mix to deal with the long range problems as well as the short range problems, and the high altitude problems and the low altitude problems, and you need that force mix. So I'm really clear with everybody I speak to, including my customers in the UK, is you need a bit of everything. And I'm afraid that means that you can't go for a simple solution. It's not simple anymore, and we see that out in the world, be it Ukraine, what's happened in the Middle East. It is deeply complex.
It's very predictable world currently. You know what will happen, we don't know in Far East, maybe near future. Last two questions. If you compare non-NATO system jets, I mean the Russians and the Chinese systems, when you compare with Eurofighter and Typhoon, what kind of advantages this jet has? What do you think?
So, again,
at least technically,
superb radar system, an amazing defensive aid system, and clearly this rocket here,
you mean the
Meteor, is a game changer in the way that you can employ air-to-air, and it comes into close-in dogfighting with the helmet-mounted queuing system and this aircraft's manoeuvrability, along with ASRAM, Meteor and AMRAAM. It's a fantastic capability that can hold its own, and I think your F-16 pilots will deeply love it in close-in combat. So I do think we can hold our own, certainly against Russian aircraft and Chinese aircraft, but again, to really defeat those threats, you need all the types of aircraft to come together to fight it, and that's what the package that we used to go and train on is, working together as a team. Because I say to people, Typhoon plus F-35, 1 + 1 = 3, Typhoon plus Khan, 1 + 1 = 3, suddenly I'm a force multiplier. Add F-16 into it, F-16, Typhoon, Khan, and the uncrewed systems, suddenly 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 doesn't equal 4, it equals 8. And that's that force multiplier. You need those different capabilities because they all work together. So it's really important. But this rocket here, the Meteor...
What is the range? It's about 300 kilometers, something like
that? I can't tell you.
Do you remember?
You'll have to have a look on the internet. But a deeply impressive weapon.
It's French.
No, Six Nation.
Really?
Six Nation missile. UK, France, Germany.
The origin was France, am I right?
No. It's a joint company that called MBDA, and this is used around the globe. This has been exported, and it's a deeply impressive missile. And of course, it's got ramjet technology, so it flies all the way to the target. It's powered all the way to the target. So yeah, a very impressive weapon system. And I think, when Turkey, have seen the capabilities, they're right to purchase
First time we see the Turkish flights on the body, also the tail. Değerli izleyicilerimiz arkadan da görebilirler.
It's wonderful.
So the final question. Now, currently, we have. I mean, in the world, I'm talking about in general, 4th generation jets, 4.5 maybe, and the 5th, like F-35 and some other jets. What is the future of the combat aviation? What do you think about the 6th generation and unmanned systems? How close we are currently? What do you think?
Oh, I think we're going to see unmanned systems are going to become a major player. I think we're going to see more and more of all different sizes and types, and some of them will be low observable, some of them won't. I think 4th gen and 4.5 gen will still have a place, because I still need to do what I would call the standard combat air. I still need to intercept airliners if they've lost comms. I still need to patrol my borders. I still need to protect my borders. So I think there's a great place for that. And of course, I don't need to worry about the low observable surface. 5th generation, absolutely. And 6th gen is just taking all of that together and growing it. But of course, with all of those capabilities, cost increases. So you need that balance, as I say. So when we discover a new way to fly and to fight, we don't lose the other ways of fighting as well. They're still applicable. And with rules of engagement, we know that we have to sometimes merge visually. So you might have all the capabilities, but I still need to be able to maneuver. So it's about that balance, but I see, yes, we're going to keep going 6th, 7th, 8th generation, but I think we're going to see them all working as part of a system, and we use the term system of systems, where everything needs to speak and share information at the speed of light, because these aircraft will operate with space capabilities and cyber capabilities all at the same time, controlled within the cockpit, sometimes with artificial intelligence guiding the pilots, sometimes with no pilot in there at all. So getting used to that as nations is, how would you allow an AI entity to control and direct a fight, and would you need a human in the loop? And these are quite moral questions that we're going to have to ask. But it's exciting but challenging at the same time.
Exactly. The final question, according to the initial and the last reports, Turkey will obtain the first batch of Eurofighter jets in 2030, starting from 2030. Tranche 4,
Yes.
20 jets.
Yes,
Is it still correct information?
That is all correct, yes.
All correct.
Yeah. Brand new.
Brand new.
Brand new, off the line. And
So-
when your Turkish pilot comes and collects them at Wharton, he or she will have a big smile on their face.
I think it's also important for NATO, not just for
I know,
Turkey, because Turkey,
I agree.
is a very important in the alliance after the US. Turkey is one of the the oldest and the most staunch ally in a southern flank of the alliance.
I agree.
So thank you very much, sir.
It's great.
Indeed for your
Lovely to meet
information.
you. Thank
Şu
you
anda
very much.
Eurofighter Typhoon uçağının kokpitindeyim. İçine girdiğinde pilotlar böyle bir kokpitle karşılaşıyorlar. Geliştirme çalışmaları devam ediyor. Yakında tamamen dokunmatik ekranlarla bu uçakların kokpitleri gelecek. Tabii bizim pilotlarımız daha önce bu uçakları filoda kullanmadıkları için bir eğitim sürecinden geçmelerine ihtiyaç var, ama yetkililer bu sürecin tahmin edilenden daha kısa ve olumlu sonuçlanacağı kanaatindeler. Teknik olarak bakıldığı zaman aslında dünyanın NATO ülkeleri olarak bakıldığı zaman da birçok NATO ülkesi tarafından kullanılan dünyanın en gelişmiş sistemlerinden birine sahip pilotlar ve üstün görüş kabiliyetleriyle, kuvvetli radarıyla ve manevra yetenekleri çok yüksek olan bir uçakla özellikle savunma alanında ve muharebe alanında Türk Hava Kuvvetleri'nin çok önemli bir avantaja sahip olacağını değerlendiriyoruz. Burada da uçağı merak eden ve incelemek isteyen insanlar kuyrukta buradan uçağın kokpitini görmek üzere bekliyorlar.